Hey everyone, dannphan's doing a little talky talk today. You probably already know, but I am an independent comic creator. I've done a few different campaigns. I have a website that I sell my comics, mostly digital. And recently there's been a bit of a discussion to be had that I kind of wanted to throw my own 2 cents in there. And the discussion is about how finished should your comic be when you crowdfund it. And a lot of you already know this, but there's been a lot of demand to get the comic very quickly after you've backed a Indiegogo project. So now there's 2 sides of an argument. One side is basically saying, well, the whole point of crowdfunding a comic is that it's not done yet, and you're basically just funding an idea. You're just funding a passion that a creator has, but doesn't have the money to fund themselves. That's why you, as the audience, step in to put money to fund the project. Right? The project shouldn't be done already because they might not get the funding. And if the comic was already done, why even go to Indiegogo to crowdfund it? You could just use your own website and sell it direct or go to an indie publisher. Then you have the other side of the argument that's saying people should not have to wait 2 years or more to get a comic after they've backed it. You should have the comic at least halfway done or completed before you start funding it on Indiegogo, because people are waiting too long to get their books, and there's no real excuse if you had the funding already to finish most of the book, and you should be showing off those pages so that they know what they're buying when they buy it, and so they can get it quicker and not be disappointed when they get it. I've certainly backed a ton of projects that I've been waiting multiple years on that still have not come. And when those projects finally arrive, who knows if they'll be worth the wait. However, the real conversation I feel like is less about how done should your comic be when you start crowdfunding, and it's more about the fact that the audiences who were very passionate about funding indie creators are getting less passionate about crowdfunding in general. And it seems like they're more interested in buying direct, because keep in mind, as you know, I've said a few minutes ago, the whole point of crowdfunding is the idea that you don't have the funds to finish the comic, and that you're relying on an audience who is also equally as passionate about the idea as you are. But as crowdfunding for comic projects has boomed, it seems like people are getting less passionate about really crowdfunding the ideas, more passionate about the idea of just buying direct from indie creators. They still want comics from indie creators, but they're not sure if they want to go to Indiegogo or Kickstarter to get those comics. I think a lot of people are looking at creators crowdfunding a project after project after project, and they're raising a few eyebrows. As they're looking at past projects, they see that they're successful and you have funding to put towards future projects, but rather instead you're just crowdfunding an idea that doesn't really have a lot of money put into it yet. Sometimes the idea isn't even completed. It's not fully written, and you're expecting people to give you money for it, which raises my eyebrow as well. Me personally, I don't think the goal for indie creators should be to crowdfund every idea that's fleeting in your brain, because not every idea that you come up with is going to be good to begin with. You should really only be focusing on the ideas that you're most passionate about, and I don't think that it's a bad thing to put your own money towards completing those projects, or at least going halfway before wanting to crowdfund to pay for the printing. I think it also sends a message to the audience that you're not really committed to any idea that you're crowdfunding when you're posting these multiple campaigns and none of them are really completed stories. They're just, like I said, fleeting ideas that you have. If you're not committed to any story, then it's clear that you're not going to be passionate about any story, not having any risk in the project failing, whereas the customers have the risk of backing something that they will not like. So in a way, that mentality is not securing the idea of high quality comics. Now, being a creator, there's a lot of good things that you get through crowdfunding, besides, you know, having less risk on you. If you don't reach the goal, then you don't actually have to pay to have the project completed. you know? Also, campaigns help you kind of gauge how big your audience is. And there's a huge YouTube community that gathers together to help promote crowdfunding projects. So there's a lot of positives that you get from crowdfunding, but what exactly are the positives that the backers get from crowdfunding? I think if you don't have the funds to put towards your projects right now, you should at least be heading towards that direction of eventually having the funds to commit to your own projects. It's not always a reachable goal for indie creators. Not all of us have big audiences to promote our stuff to. For some of us, it's going to take a few more steps until we get to that point, but you should overall have that goal to eventually be able to sell direct to your customers, to be able to fund your own projects, and have that confidence and commitment to do so, because I think that's what people really want, is to buy direct. And, you know, part of this whole crowdfunding community is that we want to keep our audiences happy. We want to actually treat the fans with respect and give them what they want. But it is definitely an intriguing conversation, I'll give it that. Maybe I'm a little bit late to actually join in on the discussion, but I did want to at least make one video throwing my 2 cents in the ring and giving you some of my thoughts on it. Me personally, obviously, you know, I've done a few crowdfunding projects myself. I do want to eventually move away from crowdfunding. Right now, I'm willing to pay for all the art myself when it comes to comics that I've made and just crowdfund to help get it printed. The 2 most recent campaigns that I've done, the art has basically been completed by the end of the campaign. Most of the book is done when I launch the campaign, and then by the end of the campaign, it's all done and I'm sending it to the printers. And I feel like that's a pretty good method. Maybe not everyone can do that, but maybe that's a goal that you should try to strive towards. Or at least, at least if you're crowdfunding just an idea, at the very least have some art done and have the idea completed, have it all written. I cannot stress enough how frustrating it is when I hear these people crowdfunding a comic that they haven't finished writing yet. How do you know it'll be good if you have not finished it? And there's nothing I hate worse than a bad ending. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Give me your own thoughts and opinions on this discussion. Like the video if you did enjoy. I'll see you guys next time. Till then, bye!
Program restart.